Sorry. So this probably will be a shorter one, just because it's 100 degrees today, and it's kind of hot out here. Probably gonna have to eventually move these back inside because this heat is just something else. Anyway, Tara Joyce is just so full of shit. She loved to post. For some reason, as a fluke this morning, I decided, hey Smokey, I decided to just go check her channel out, see what she was up to. I don't know why, because I usually don't. But from the stuff that she had posted, it sounded like she had just gone on Nathan Stoltman's Lift the Veil. And Nathan, hey Katie, I actually did, Katie, if you're still interested in dog slings, there's a book on the way with a pattern. I'm going to learn how to do dog slings, and I'm going to start making clothes for small dogs. So, yeah, Sherilyn is under the weather, everyone. I'm sorry. Okay. I have this sling thing coming. Thank you to someone. I hate to mention names in here of people who have helped, but I will let you know. I will let you know. Anyway, so Tara Joyce starts talking about how she's gone on Lift the Veil. Nathan Stoltman's Lift the Veil. And so if you go click the link in the description, I was irritated because he was just like, what the fuck ever. Well, Nathan Stoltman then leaves a comment on the post that I did this morning, sending people to my website, and told me that not only has he not interviewed Tara Joyce lately on Lift the Veil, he's never interviewed her, ever. And in fact, doesn't even do it anymore because of the harassment that he's had to be put through. And so, when I put this video on my blog, I will put the screenshot of what he said. They'll just lie. They'll just lie about anything and everything. Like people are just too stupid to realize. And they think again that they've like dealt this death blow to me, posting those flyers up all over town. But now people are starting to look into my shit. Now a lot more people know what happened with the Early, Iowa gas station explosion. And a lot more people in Harlan know why they suddenly got rid of the entire Harlan Police Department. The real reason. You know, because they were afraid I was going to sue them. They're probably still afraid because, you know, it's not like I don't have the videos of the three things, you know. And again, the only reason why I pulled the Ring video in the first place it wasn't Ring, it was Arlo. The reason why I pulled it is because the conversation was so out there and bizarre. I cannot believe he told me the things that he told me. And that's why I've never been able to release that video. Because he told me things he should have never told me. And then to have that girl show back up at my house a few days later after I had hung up all the outside cameras. And then the very person that I was fucking bitching about shows up at my door. And they're directly connected to the chief of police that was before Yamada, who in town was known as the biggest drug dealer in town. That's the connection there. And same person, I believe, well, I know that they have access to a big white truck, you know? So I bet I know who's hanging flyers, which just goes to show. But flyers ended up, see, the cops have been telling everybody that I am fucking paranoid schizophrenic and all this shit is in my head. That's what they've been telling people. And now that doesn't work anymore, because obviously it's not. If it's all in my head, this is one fuck of a delusion. You know? I guess everybody is under the same delusion. You know? Hey. So, the thing about that is that, so now they can't argue that it's all in my head. The other thing that they can't argue is that it's not local, that there aren't people in town helping them. Obviously there are. You know, Daniel Dowd and Gio did not come into town and hang up fucking posters. And neither one of them are female, and the hand in the video looked female to me. You know, like a 20, 30 something female. Not old, but not young. You know? Which again fits to the person I know who has access to the big white truck. You know? And I've went through that whole story in live videos. In the last couple live videos, I've gone through all of it. But now people are more aware. You know, they're more aware. In town, they're way more aware. People who didn't probably even know who I am. Because the shit went all over Facebook. But I'm not running from it, because I'm not a pedophile. You know? And the fact that it's being spread by the people that it is, just makes me want to shake my head. Anyone who wants to believe it, go ahead. You know? I just can't be bothered to care. But Tara Joyce has never been on Lift the Veil. They're just full of shit. They're just full of shit. And Daniel Dowd as Pootie Twang, who's... You know, the whole thing about Daniel Dowd and Gio Farnsworth is if you did not want me to make such an issue out of you murdering Owen, perhaps you should not have bragged about it. You know? And it's just a simple equation. You shouldn't have bragged about it. I know you thought that there was nothing I would be able to do, but you obviously have been mistaken. You know? And, hey, Smokey. And I'm very tenacious. You know? I'm very tenacious. I am too, Katie. Katie says that she was very glad that Nathan was able to clear that up. Nathan told me that he's always supported my work and that what they want to do is divide us. And he's right. That's exactly, you know, that's right. You know, they're putting that guy through hell just like they're putting me through hell. It's the same shit. It's the same fucking game. And it's all the same people. It's always the same people. And so this band of child traffickers needs to be investigated. And yeah, what Gio posting shit about, because Isaac Cappy, they murdered him 11 months before they blew up that Erlin, Iowa gas station explosion. Yeah, he does. Nathan does have good intentions. His common sense is sometimes questionable as far as I'm concerned, but it's overridden by his good intentions, you know? And I'm not perfect, so fuck, you know? my common sense sometimes can definitely be questioned. And it's not like this whole situation with the brochures. They didn't scare me. I'm not going to run away. But it pissed me the fuck off. It pissed me the fuck off in a way that I can barely describe to you how bad it pissed me off. But I'm not one of those people who is going to go out and just be like, let everyone have it because I'm pissed off. It's, you know, and so therefore I've had to pretty much contain it because, you know, and it's exhausting to do that. It's exhausting. And so I've slept a lot in the last few days because instead of being angry and being angry outward so that, you know, subjecting people to my anger, which isn't fair, I just kind of eat it. But in doing so, it's tiring. And so I've been sleeping and have not really been all that focused for the last, you know, focused in a way, but I don't know. I've been really pissed off about this whole situation. Not to mention that there's just so much shit going on. We've been hit with, what, 2 X flares now? And everything is going crazy around the world. This whole thing with Israel. Be careful what you ask for, Smokey. The problem is that when you ask God to give you patience, what he does is put you in situations that tests your patience. And so, Katie, I thank you guys for being supporters. You've always been, you know. It matters that people actually listen. And I think you guys not only listen, but I think that you go out and try and do the work that you're supposed to do as well. And we're just supposed to keep each other in mind. But this group of fucking pedophiles and exposing this group of pedophiles, this is what I was trained to do. You know? The tenacity that I have is part of that quote-unquote super soldier training. You know? Bite down, never let go. And I'm never going to let it go. Never. Oh. Lemon peel. Sorry. Exactly. Smokey says he's already been damn tested. Still being tested. So please don't give me any more patience. Amen to that. This whole situation has just been trying. And I guess I was, supposed to hide at home as a result? I'm not hiding at home. And if anybody wants to say something to me, they're more than welcome. You want to go in? Hold on. It's 100 degrees, but I have one of them that will stay here because I have the fan blowing right on both of us. And so this whole group just irritates the piss out of me, you know? And the fact that Tara Joyce hasn't never been on Lift the Veil. And I'm sure she's going to construe it, but if you go to my blog, you can see fucking screenshots of the shit. You know? So to say that I misread or am not giving it, you know, not explaining it properly, The screenshots of what she posted on YouTube is on my blog. You know, they're all working together, and they want everyone to follow all of their crazy shit. You know, they want everyone to follow all their crazy shit. And go ahead if you want, you know? And there are some people in here who do, and they don't do it because they're interested in their shit. They do it because it's cool, because I get kept abreast. People tell me, you know, that they're posting this lately, or they're posting that lately, or they're doing this, or they're doing that, you know. It'll be interesting, the timing of all of this, because Gio was desperately trying to get Smokey to call for Israel is so war hungry right now. Israel is war hungry. Flat out, it's hungry. Oh, Sherilyn, Frosty needs to go. Again, they have nothing better to do, but I guess it's Sunday afternoon. You know? Sorry, Sherilyn. She's under the weather. We don't care about Trump. They're all in it for themselves. Every single one of them. All of the world's leaders. They're all going crazy. They're all in it for themselves and the people who are making them rich and powerful. That's what they're there for. That's what they're all about. Every frickin' one of them. And so we're at the end. That's what it's written at the end. The world's leaders. You know? A fake-ass name with a liquor saying Trump rocks. I'm just... Well... As a Muslim, I believe in Jesus and his teachings. That's the whole thing about it is that Jesus wasn't Christian, first of all, and he didn't worship himself. And I think that in this second coming, if Jesus Christ is coming as a second coming, he's coming more in the likeness of Muhammad than he is Jesus Christ. Because Muhammad was about justice and actually taking the authority and dealing with justice. And I know this because I've read the Quran. You know, a lot of it was about justice and social justice and doing the right thing and caring about your fellow man, but justice and warrior, you know, without a doubt, Muhammad is a warrior. And I think when Jesus Christ comes back at the second coming, he comes back with a sword and there's blood on his tunic. And there's a great gnashing of teeth, you know, but everyone seems to think he's coming so that we're going to get our cake and eat it too. So I guess the big sword he's supposed to come with is to cut the cake. And this great gnashing of teeth is going to be all of us enjoying our cake, right? You know, that's how it's going to work. Days that will never have been that bad before and will never be that bad again. So where do you get, you know, listening for those trumpets, you know? Sahih Bukhari. Is that a Buddhist? It sounds kind of Buddhist. Studied Buddhism too. Taoism. Went through a huge period in my life from early to middle teens all the way well into my 20s. No, okay. Where I studied a lot of religions trying to find, well, I was trying to find out when you're supposed to be the vessel for the Antichrist, how not to be the vessel for the Antichrist. And there's nothing in Christianity written about that. You know? There was nothing in the Quran. The Egyptian Book of the Dead. Nothing. Nothing. You know? I went through a long period of time where, you know, because they convinced me I was going to be the vessel for the Antichrist. And, companion to Quran. Okay. The second holiest book of Muslims. Oh, now you have me definitely interested. There's a reason why Benjamin Netanyahu wants to go after mostly Muslim countries. There's a reason why there's been such a focus on the Muslim countries. And because of what I've gone through, I would say that it is, you know, we are Christian. When it all comes down to it, I believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ. I believe in the Word. And I will fight till the end and keep fighting for the Word. You know? I believe in the 2 commandments that are up first and foremost. Love our Creator, love everyone else. I try to do that as best as I possibly can. If you're doing those 2 things and you're focused on those 2 things, the 10 commandments are a no-brainer. You know, are a no-brainer. And so he was Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. He died Jewish. He lived Jewish. He was a Jew. King of the Jews. He was Jewish, not Christian. Didn't worship himself. You know? Muslims say he was a Muslim. Well, knowing what I know about all of this stuff, I think Jesus Christ practiced shamanism, went and dealt with dreams, and it went off by himself. Sounds like it to me. Come on, you want to go in? Do you want to go in? Come on. Come on. In. Come on. Come on. Come on. And wants to sit out here in this heat with me, but I just don't think it's good for him. I study religions. I like any focus on the Holy Spirit. And it's not just, I mean, that's possible in so many ways because God is inside of us and all around us. And so I told you, Smokey, growing up with Luciferians, the Luciferians told me that the only actual everything true is the Gospels of Jesus Christ and the 10 Commandments. They believe that everything else was construed and rewritten by the church. And it was because they wanted everyone divided and no one brought together. That's the reason, one of the biggest reasons why the Book of Thomas wasn't even written, wasn't even allowed in there. You are never out of the loop if you want. Jesus was God in man form, who was a practicing Jew, who made it possible for salvation to be for Jew and Gentile alike. Milo the goat just wrote that. Exactly. You know, exactly. It's all about, and the love and light, those of us who have our hearts filled and we're focused on the Word and trying as best that we can to live the Word, we're going to ascend. And the others won't. They're going to get stuck here in this spiritual black hole. And that's why I say, fill your heart with love right now. Because we're at the end. You know? You guys professing your love for each other. It's cool. It's just funny. I probably should pray. You know? And I'm not going to be able to stay out here. I took the dogs inside and here I sit. But it's windy out today. Oh my God, the wind has just been incredible the last couple days. I think that it's all semantics, Katie. Why did Jesus make it possible for Gentiles if he was a Jew? They're unrelated. How did he affect that if he wasn't a Gentile? Personally, me, I think that Jesus Christ came down to save humanity. It wasn't Jew and Gentile. None of it was that way. It was Jesus Christ, I believe, came down and basically called those of us who will serve the Word. And it doesn't make any difference who we are. And personally, I don't think that it's going to make a difference if you follow Jesus Christ and get into all of the dogma or not. So I think that someone in another country who doesn't have any clue about Jesus Christ and is only surrounded by their only particular religion, but they live their whole lives happy with the Creator and loving all those around them, I think they're going to ascend. Whether or not they fit the dogma of, oh, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and through him I'm redeemed and I'm going to go to heaven and all that dogma, I don't think any of that will make any difference. I think a peasant in Bangladesh who only knows the world around them, but still has their heart with love and is still compassionate and kind and loving to all those around him, I think they'll ascend. I will. I do. I think they'll ascend. I think that's the important part. And I think that we've gotten so focused, because you have to say that saying that we're followers of Jesus Christ separate us from others. You know, we follow Jesus Christ, but we're supposed to follow the Word. And so I again think that if someone who's living in Nepal or one of those villages in Africa who have had no civilization getting a hold of them, they're just, what we would call primitive and all of that. Their hearts are full of love and they're loving the Creator and loving the world around them and loving each other. Tribes, I think they'll ascend. I do. The tribes. Thank you. It's so hot out here. It's almost hard to think. I don't think I'll be doing. I've gotten the temperature down, so I'm in a cold wave. With the fans going, actually gotten the temperature down to 95. It's it's hot. Let me pray. You know, Heaven, we come to you as your children, and we are doing our best to try and fill our hearts with love and support each other. We realize that the path to ascend is not an easy one, and it's full of tests, and those tests are hard. And we ask for the grace to keep going, and maybe a little less patience, you know. Maybe don't give us anything that tests our patience anymore. That's I think that we're all kind of exhausted and tired and just want to get this going and done with. And help us to support each other, no matter what our differences between us may be, or what dogma we might be clinging to at whatever time. You know, it's about the word, and that word is love. And we give all glory to you, and we give as much compassion and empathy and love to all those around us as much as we can and as best as we can. And we're grateful and willing and happy to do it, even though it might put us in a situation that, you know, it's hard. It's hard to love sometimes. It's hard to be patient. It's hard to get through. It's hard to be an adult. It's easy to let our emotions take over and let the anger and the derision and the pain take control. But we just would rather let that go and focus on better things. You know, joyful things, things that glorify your name. And we say these things in your Son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ, who came down and taught us about the Word in a way that can't be argued, and then lived a life that emulated exactly what he was saying so that we could follow it as best as we were able. And we say these things gratefully in your Son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. The heat is incredible. The heat is incredible. You know? And so, I don't know how long I'm going to do this. But again, I just go back to the whole situation. If Geo Farnsworth and Daniel Dowd did not want me to make an issue about them coming into my area and murdering my friend Owen, they shouldn't have fucking bragged about it. I don't see how it becomes my fucking fault or my responsibility, or their stupid shit somehow is a reflection of me. You know? I didn't appreciate it. I still don't appreciate it. When it comes to Tara Joy, she just lies. She just lies about everything. You know? Nathan said he has never even had her on his show. So what the fuck was that all about? You know? And so she just lies. And she's working with Daniel Dowd. And Daniel Dowd can get people in town to hang posters saying that I'm a pedophile all he wants, but he's the one who has a mugshot for fucking a child under the age of 12. All of this child trafficking bullshit needs to be investigated. The only reason why I have basically had to bulldoze my sheriff, Shelby County, Iowa, Neil Gross, is because he went out of his way to protect them, and has repeatedly, over and over and over and over. And so therefore, to get to them and expose them, obviously I have to go through Neil and his department. Those brochures, those flyers that they hung up all over town, you know? Again, now it can't be argued that I'm paranoid schizophrenic and all this shit is in my head. Obviously it's not in my head. You know, it's not my delusion that made those fucking flyers, let alone hung them up all over town. And there were big flyers and little flyers. I don't know, but Texas had, it's on there. You can go look at my blog. It's on there. And the fact that he actually is bragging about meeting kids online now through these gaming sets so he can counsel them about safety and how they shouldn't meet people like him online. You know? That's just fucked up. And my question is, okay, so he's meeting all these kids. Do the parents know? You know? Do the parents know? And then I say that they're a bunch of fucking child traffickers. Daniel Dowd, Geo Farnsworth, Tara Joyce, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. They're using that Satanic Temple after-school daycare to target the kids. Thomas Schoenberger, working directly with them. You know? Tara Joyce will say that, oh, it's a sock puppet. Thomas is using a sock puppet. Why? To what end? It's not a sock puppet. It's Doug. And the reason why I know it was Doug is because they all came at me all at once. Thomas Schoenberger, that Chris McKempsey Jones account, and that Johnny Dub account. But Johnny Dub was Lucian Greaves, but so was Andy Villa. Like I said, they fancied themselves as Legion because they are many. You know? Because fuck, you take one account down, they just set up 10 more. That's how it works. You know? And so they're targeting the kids. You know, Sewer Town. All the people that Isaac Cappy was involved with. Corey Daniel. Gabe Hoffman. He went after Gabe Hoffman. Gabe Hoffman is the open secret dude who's supposedly for ritual abuse survivors. But I'm a ritual abuse survivor, and I'm telling you he's full of shit. You know, working with the opposition. Ron Patton and his little group in Olympia, Washington. And all of them. All involved. You know? Sid Seymour was a big guy in San Francisco. I don't know if he still is. Because I've gotten out of I have a life. You know? And God and the dark is getting ready to handle every fucking one of them, so I just don't give a shit anymore. You know? They're gonna be dealt with in the harshest of possible fucking ways. That's what's getting ready to happen. And they can say whatever bullshit they want. They can convince anybody of any stupid thing that they want. Let me remind everyone, before it was the flyers all over town, they were telling everybody that I was a felon who got busted with a sawed-off shotgun, and I was a coke addict. You know? Fuck, when do I become an MS-13 member? It is MS-13, right? I think I got it right. When do I become an MS-13 member? When do I become a Blood or a Crip? Or am I both? Am I a Blood and a Crip? And an MS-13 member, you know? But that's what they were saying before the whole Flyers thing. You know? That's why this shit is so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And there are people in town who are going to run with the goddamn gossip. They're going to, they don't want to know the truth. They're just going to run with the gossip. But, I'm not running from it. You know? I've been walking around in town with my head held high. Because I'm not backing down. I'm certainly not bowing to a bunch of fucking lies. You know? By a group that's just desperate to keep their fucking child trafficking bullshit quiet. That's what it is. That's what it is. This whole thing can be stemmed right down to that. You know? They murdered Isaac because he was trying to expose their pedophile shit. They've been after me in just forever in ways that people can't even believe, because I've been trying to expose this pedophile shit. This child trafficking bullshit. That's what it is. So they can say whatever the fuck they want. You know, Daniel Dowd can do these 5-hour marathon fucking YouTube live videos. Shit, do a marathon. Do 40 fucking hours. That'll be just hilarious. Talk about me for 40 fucking hours. But again, if you didn't want me to come after you for murdering Owen, you should have never fucking bragged to me about it. You know? So I don't know how it became my responsibility that you were so fucking stupid that you murder my fucking friend and then brag about it all over YouTube. You know? And now you want to fucking act all butthurt because now I'm holding you accountable? You know? Fucking worthless pieces of shit. And stupid. You know? And stupid. Because of course I wasn't going to let it go. I'm never going to let it go. You know? The shit with the Erland, Iowa gas station explosion. I'm never going to let it go. This child trafficking bullshit, I am so never going to fucking let this go. Never. Never. You know? And so... And my local police are the same as every fucking police in whatever town I'm in. They know. So they're telling you that, you know, first of all, I'm on no fucking registry. But I bet Daniel Dowd is, you know. You're not going to find me on any fucking registry. And why? Because I've never done anything fucking stupid like that. You know? Gross. But, fuck these pedophiles. That's all I can say. You know? And I'm not backing down from them because they make a bunch of baseless fucking accusations. Or they distort what's there. Because that whole thing in Elmwood Park. They'll call me a pedophile, say I was involved in Elmwood Park, like I was a pedophile in Elmwood Park. But that whole situation that happened over 20 fucking years ago, probably 22, 23 years ago, he was a cop. Omaha police are fucked up, but they don't hire children as cops. So, just pointing that out. You know? This is the same group that said that I didn't need disability, and then all of a sudden disability told me that there had been a myriad amount of attempts at identity theft regarding my disability and my account with Social Security. And so this is the shit that I've had to deal with over and over and over. It's the same group. And how do I know it's the same group? Because at the time that it was going on, these motherfuckers were all over fucking social media, fucking going on and bragging about it. They brag. They can't keep their fucking mouths shut, and then when you call them out, then they act like they're fucking victims, and you're crazy for just pointing their shit out. You know? And they lie. Tara Joyce just said she was on Lift the Veil. Nathan Stoltman, who basically ran Lift the Veil, said he's never interviewed her ever in his entire life. You know? But of course it's Tara Joyce who's telling the truth. The one that's connected to the barely legal porn producer people. You know? there's some really weird connections here that all need to be looked at. And it's all fucking criminal bullshit. And they can do and say whatever they want, but the shit that they're doing just makes them look fucking guilty. And they think that they're actually going to intimidate me and harass me into silence. And I don't know where they get that idea. Because anyone who actually knows me knows that just the opposite is going to happen. You know? Just the opposite is going to happen. I'm going to get pissed off. And fight or flight. I don't fly. Ever. Ever. They just didn't think anyone could fight him effectively. Because they all laugh about how untouchable they are. You know? Oh shit, Smokey, they'll never say it to your face. You know? They'll never say it to your face. Ever. If they do say it to your face, it's because they've come up behind you in the shadows and somehow incapacitated you. And then tied you to a fucking chair so you can't move. Then they'll say it to your face. You know? But otherwise... they're little bitches. That's what they are. And they do fucking little bitchy shit. Just like that. You know? And I'm not running from it. I don't see any reason to run from it. You know? I don't see any reason to run from it. And I have a bunch of people now, especially from these lives, who don't see any reason to run from it either. And so therefore, you know, and what are they going to do? Take us all out? That's, you know, because we're all individuals. Not one of us is leading the other. We're all leaders in our own right. That's what I've, you know, another one of heaven's promises being answered. You know? A bunch of people who can think for themselves, who actually are doing what they need to do in their own lives. And we're all finding each other. And so with that said, I'm kind of desperate. The renewal fees are due on that blog next month. Happen every year. So I have to come up with like $330. I have to come up with $330 for two things next month. And then the month after that, I have to come up with another $65. This blog is not fucking free. Anybody who wants to buy a book, they're $30 if I send it in the United States. PayPal and Venmo is just D Shurter. If you appreciate what I'm doing and you want to bust this child trafficking thing, no donation is too small. And right now, everything is going to go to making sure that everything stays healthy with that blog. Which, I don't care if I have to sell a testicle. I'm not going to let that fucking thing go down. But I'm not in a position, I'm starving most of the time. So, since I can't afford food, you know, and smoking, everyone knows. You know, there are a lot of people who can't. And don't feel if you cannot help at this moment, don't feel bad, you know? And don't feel that anybody is judging you or is angry with you, because I'm certainly not. Nobody is. Sherilyn most definitely is not. But, this shit costs money. And this blog has been going since 2011. I have paid these fees every fucking year since 2011. You know? So, but davidshurter.com, and now I'm really just using a lot of it, you know? Trust David won't eat to keep you. You're right. I won't eat because I will keep that blog up. You know? dshurtermod@gmail.com. Sherilyn has that too. The mod email. Any questions? Any stuff you feel that we should talk about? Any questions that you have? Suggestions for improvement? I'm always open for suggestions on improvement. Sherilyn is the one who has to go through them, so try to keep the swearing down and be a dick, and she'll just fucking block your ass because she's not going to play. But if you have any concerns, stuff like that, again, PayPal and Venmo is D Shurter. It's just my first initial and my last name, Shurter. You will remain anonymous too, because so that I don't even screw up and mention anything, Sherilyn just won't tell me a name. She'll just tell me what came up, Yeah, it's just D Shurter, and it can just be lowercase, And so, I think that everything is getting ready to shift if the world doesn't end with this whole the sun and Israel and Iran, Gaza, Russia, Ukraine. Oh my God. If we're given a chance, I know that there's a group of us are coming together. D Shurter, there you go. Capital D, capital S, lowercase u, or H, Urter. So it's just my name, D Shurter. Right. So if he doesn't have to email anymore. And I will be getting the pattern for dog slings, so any of you have small dogs. And I will also be making some dog clothes. Not for mine, because mine are kind of big. No, I don't think a capital letter would mess up the email, but for the PayPal or Venmo, I think it would screw up. It might screw it up. But, Sherilyn, if you could put the PayPal and Venmo and the blog and all of that in the comments. Can you just leave a comment? Because obviously I can't see comments and stuff. If you can just leave a comment and just put all that stuff so that it's in the comments, and then people can see it all. And, I'll try and fit it into the description. I'm looking so forward. Someone I know has just the sweetest little dog. And if I have anything to say, she's going to be a diva. I think it's going to be fun. Dog clothes and a sling. I'll be working on all kinds of stuff. I'm still kind of working on bags. To be quite honest, I've just been out of it. I'm not playing guitar. I don't have the fingers for the guitar. If I was going to play a piano, would be what I would play. I would love to learn piano. I was looking at a house for sale online, and there was a piano in the basement in one of the pictures. And I was just like, wow, I wonder if the piano comes with the house. I would love to have a piano. If I had to live this life all over again, I would learn how to play piano. Yes. I most likely will not be calling Sherilyn after this live because she's sick and her throat hurts and I don't want her to, you know. I might just make a quick phone call to Sherilyn just to see. But usually when we talk, it ends up, I don't want her to hurt her throat. I want to have her get over this stuff. Getting sick sucks. Doesn't make any difference really what time of the year it is. But summertime, especially with this heat and everything, oh my God, it's awful. It's awful. Well, it's 55 minutes and it's 100 degrees. It's so sucky out here. This hat is... I'm sweating. Gross. I think with the temperature fluctuations and everything that's going on, I think that everything is going to start getting sick or starting to get bad. And I think sickness and bacteria and all of that stuff is going to start getting stronger because it's not going to get knocked down. I'm glad you're better too, Katie. I want Sherilyn to get better. You know? You have to say, Katie, there's nothing that makes us appreciate life more than actually being shown a little taste of death. Because let me tell you, I don't know what it's like for everybody else, but I just blame it on being a dude. But when I'm sick, I'm a baby. Only I'm a baby where I just want to be left the fuck alone. I don't want anybody around me. I just want to be left alone. And so, drink a hot toddy. Hot tea. Hot tea with lemon. I really do want to start going back and working out. I just can't afford the gym membership here in town. The gym membership here in town is $60. And the thing is full of kids. That was the cool thing. When I lived in Omaha, I went to this gym in town, the Pinnacle Club, where there were no kids allowed. It was the best gym. And so if I could ever find a gym like that again, and it was men and women, it was both, but it was just adults. No kids. No kids could have membership. There were no family things. You couldn't bring your family. It wasn't a freaking YMCA. And it was great. I love that. I need to start doing push-ups, sit-ups, and dumbbells. You're right. And I haven't, I mean, it's ancient, but I do have a treadmill upstairs. Ancient. I don't have any dumbbells, though. But I would like to do that. Getting back to normal. You know. I love taking creatine. Oh my God, I grew so fast when I was taking creatine. When I was drinking creatine and working out 3 hours a day, I was big. You know, I was built. Now I'm 58. I stopped working out right before the divorce, so I haven't worked out in 15 years, you know? And so now I've just become a fat old dude, you know? When they come after me, chances are it'll be as a group. It'll be a group. I think that the only reason why, well, I think there's a few reasons why they haven't just done to me with, like they say, they've used to send me emails saying they were going to Isaac Cappy me. But to be quite honest, that's why I love having Smokey as a friend. Because Smokey is a wild card. He's decent, normal, law-abiding, respectable, but I think that there's a side of him that if push come to shove, he wouldn't play nice. And that's a wild card that's nice to have. And so I appreciate it. Because now I feel safer. You know? And I feel Sherilyn is safer. They're you know? And that's... When you consider that this is a whole group of fucking dickheads who end up murdering people and doing whatever the fuck they want to do, they'll start saying, oh, you know, he's talking about Smokey being a wild card. Well, yeah, you know. The thing about you, Sherilyn, is the same thing about with all of us. There's a side like biting down on tinfoil. You know, that it's biting down. I know, that's the nice thing about it is that, you know, having people have my back, Isaac didn't have that. In the end, Isaac didn't have that. Max Spears didn't have that. Lori King didn't have that. You know, Tracy Twyman, I would assume, did not have that. And that's why I know that my place in this is different than most, because God has made it to where I do have that. You know, I have people. I know, Smokey, you're law-abiding now, but I think that when push came to shove, you would give those dickheads a run for their money, and more importantly, they know that. Oh, excuse me, and they know that. And that's the important thing, is that they know it. Because otherwise they're full of threats and full of stupid shit. And lies and attacks, you know. That's what they are. Just full of lies and attacks and all of that. And they know that if something happens, people aren't just going to go away anymore. I think that's the important thing. They know that people are not just going to go away. Survivors grow up. Survivors grow up. And God help you if that survivor grows up and then gets pissed off. You know? Because we're tenacious. I think as a whole lot of us, we're tenacious. Shit, Smokey, you're like a polar bear, which are the most vicious of the bears. They're the ones. A polar bear attacks you, you're fucked, you're dead. There's nothing. No one's gonna save you. And so, grizzly bears might run. Polar bears rarely ever run, from what I understand. Look, if I'm not making live videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, something's wrong. And there's enough of us now that talk on a consistent basis on something other than social media and all of that, or Sunday. Did I say Saturday? It's Sunday. So it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Sundays are just easier. Because let's be real, if I can go to Omaha on Saturday or Sunday, I'm always going to choose to go on Saturday. So it's Sunday. So it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Tuesday and Thursday are at 11 o'clock in the morning. I like to get it out of the way. And then Sunday is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because it just, more people are, you know, able to be here. And, more people are able to be here, and it's just, it works out better. So Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 o'clock, Sundays at 2 o'clock. And if something happens and that all stops, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And so, yeah, Sherilyn is really kind of pushed to get me on a schedule. And we tried to do 2 o'clock Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. But I I can't commit to 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I get caught up in doing stuff and then I don't want to stop. And 11 o'clock in the morning is easier. That way I can get it done in the morning and I have the afternoons. So Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That'll be the schedules. Every once in a while, I'll throw one in extra someplace. You know, if I feel like I need to do another live in between there, I will. But Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and if something's up, if that stops, you know, Sherilyn is the one to reach out to. Again, they can't take us all out, you know. And Bluck, to be quite honest, Smokey would know. Yeah, Smokey will know. If something's happened to me, Smokey will know. Sherilyn will know. There are several people in here who will know, you know. And I'm not going to just mention a bunch of names because I'm not putting everybody, but there are a group of you who are on the email list. If those emails stop all of a sudden and you don't see anything, something's wrong. You know, that's because that's the only way to keep it up with it. You know, and there are people in here who get the emails. Thank God me getting the emails has stopped. Or at least slowed way down. Because, oh my God, it was awful for a while. For a long while, actually. Alright, well, I'm getting off here because it's just hot as fuck. And so, it is 95 in here. It's just hot as fuck. I have sweat going down my arms, underarms. And it feels so disgusting. So I want to go into the air conditioning. Most likely, if it's like this, from now on, I'll be moving upstairs. Because I'll just be putting the air conditioner in the window and doing it up there. Guys, thank you so much. If anybody can donate, no matter how small, right now everything is going to the blog. Till that's paid for, you know. But Sherilyn is right. I'll starve before I let that blog go down. There's no way I'll ever let that thing go down. There's just too much information. DavidShurter.com. If you click on the description, you can get right there. Okay. I tell you what, Smokey, call me, and then I'll call Sherilyn. That way I can give her a moment to just, you know, compose herself. So I'm going to get off here, and then I got to go down and get my Bluetooth, because I don't like to put the phone up to my ear. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.